guys, welcome to my class Karate DSL from Zero to Hero. And in this lesson, we will cover some basics about the JSON. So what is JSON, JSON structure and data types, and manipulating with JSON data. If you are already familiar with what JSON is, how to work with JSON data, you can skip this lesson and move forward. If you are not, if you are new to API testing, please stay here because you should have a crystal clear understanding of what is JSON and how to work with JSON objects, because JSON object is the main type of payload for the REST APIs. So, what is JSON? JSON is abbreviation which stands for JavaScript Object Notation. JSON objects may have two types, object and array. Object is always in the curly braces, array in the square braces. The typical representation of the object is right here. So it has key and value pairs. Key and value is separated by colon, and each key value pair is separated by comma. And each key in the JSON object have to be unique. The array has more simple structure. It's just the list of the values. Values are separated by comma, and also array has index. First value in the array is 0, second value is 1, and so on. What are the possible different JSON structure maybe? For the JSON object is just simple object, key and value pair. The second structure for the object is when you key, instead of the value, it has another object. So we have key here, and the value is another object with nested key and nested value. And the third kind of structure is when the value for your key is array, the nested array. So we have a value 1 and value 2. So for the JSON array is just two simple structures. It's just simple array when you have value 1, value 2 separated by comma, and array of objects, each value also separated by comma. Also, the objects by its structure usually have the same format. What are the data types in JSON? First data type is a string, and the most popular. String is value that is in a double quotes for the value. For example, here John is a string and age 36 is his age, also a string. So keep in mind that 36, even it's a number, but because it's in double quotes, it's considered as a string. Second data type is a number. We have a weight is 95 and age is 36. Compared to the left, you see that in number data type, we don't have a double quotes. That means that this is a number. Third data type is a Boolean. It can have two values, true or false. And in our example, we have is he happy is true and is he married is false. For the Boolean values, you don't need double quotes. If you put true or false into the double quotes, it will be considered as string. And the fourth data type is null. Null means nothing. For example, we have a wife name is null, and because our John is not married, so he doesn't have wife, so the value is null. Okay, manipulating data in JSON. So let's assume we have this kind of object. We have John Smith, his age is 36. He has cars, Honda and BMW. His income in Q1 was $10,000, in Q2 $20,000, and he has two pets. We have array of pets. We have two objects. First pet is type dog and name Jimmy, and second pet is type cat and name Lisa. And let's say we assign this object into the variable mime object, and the keyword def is a keyword from Karate, which is defining the variable, define my object. So now we will work with this object, and I'll show you a few examples how to manipulate JSON data using JSON path. And I remind you that Karate natively supports JavaScript and JSON. So get the last name. Last name is Smith in our example. How to do that? So first we want to define a last name variable, and then we assign the value of last name like this. We call our object, then we put dot and call our key. And as a result, last name variable will have value Smith. Moving on, how to get the second car in the list of cars for our John Smith. So we define variable second car, and then we call my object cars and index of the value in the array. So in our example, Honda is the first index, it's 0, and BMW is 1. So we have my object dot cars, then we put square braces, and we put the index of our value in the array. Moving on, how to get the income for Q2? So we need to get $20,000. Pretty easy. So we define the variable. Then we call myObject.income to get the key for the next object. And then we put .q2 to get the value of $20,000. Moving on, how to get the type of the first pet. This is our dog Jimmy, so we need to get the value that this is actually dog. We define the variable type of the first pet. Then we call our object.pets, so this is array. Then in our array we're getting first value of the array, which has index 0. And then we call .type, which is this one, and this is how we're getting the value of the dog. So as you see, it's very, very simple. Moving on. How to update the age? So our John Smith has 36. Let's say we want to update to 40. It's very simple. We have to use a keyword in Karate called set. Then we call our object.age. Age is our key from our object, and we just assign value 40. And how to update cat's name to the dog's name. So we want to replace Lisa with Jimmy. So we will have cat Jimmy and dog Jimmy. So how to do that? So we want to set my object pets one name. One index is the second object, means that we call in object pets and Lisa. And we want to replace this value with this value. My object's pets 0. We are taking first object in the array in this example, and we're getting the name. So we are replacing Lisa with Jimmy. And when we execute this code, we will see that age was updated and name for the cat was updated as well. Okay, moving on. How to add new income for Q3. So we see that we have Q1, $10,000, Q2, $20,000, and we want to add a new value into this income object with the result for Q3 income. It's pretty simple. So you call setMyObject.income.Q3. And as you see, Q3 actually do not exist in this object. But when you execute this expression, Karate will create this record for you inside of this object. So next example, how to add a new car. So we have array of two cars, Honda and BMW, and we want to add a new one. So we simply call our myObject cars. We define that this is an array, and we assign a value of Porsche. And when we execute this expression, a new value will be appended to the array. Replace the existing value in the array. Let's say we want to replace Honda with a new vehicle. In our example, Honda because it's index 0, and we want to replace Honda with Tesla. And when we execute this expression, Honda will be replaced by Tesla. So simple. And how to delete record for Q2 income. So we have Q1, Q2, Q3, and we want to keep only Q1 and Q3 in this object. Again, it's pretty simple. You have to use a keyword remove, then you call myObject.income.Q2. And when you execute this expression, the record in the income object will be deleted. Please keep in mind that keyword remove works only in Karate script. In JavaScript, you will need to use keyword delete. And the last example, how to delete record for BMW. So we want to delete the second car in our array. It's pretty simple and similar to example before. So we call remove myObject.cars, provide the index for our array, and we remove BMW. All right, let's make a quick summary of this lesson. JSON consists of objects and arrays. Objects are in curly braces, arrays in square braces. Possible structures are simple objects or arrays, nested objects or nested arrays, and it can be array of objects. Data types for the JSON are string, number, boolean, and null. Karate has a native support of JSON, so you can easily manipulate with JSON path expressions. All right, thank you guys, and see you in the next lesson.